we're going to do something very amazing and something very innovative. And you guys know in my career, I like to do things that are innovative. I'm not tearing down Civic Center so we can dispel all those rumors.
My name is Terri Lee. I currently serve as the Chief Housing Officer for the City of Atlanta, Georgia. I will begin employment tenure with Atlanta Housing on December 1st as the Chief Operating Officer.
Hello, my name is Eugene E. Jones Jr. I am the President and CEO of Atlanta Housing. I've been here for 1 year, celebrating my anniversary a couple of weeks ago, and I'm glad to be here. I'm having fun and going to continue having fun in this great city. Atlanta Housing provides housing, public housing and assisted housing for roughly about 50,000 individuals in the city. Atlanta Housing has been around since the early 1930s, late 30s, when they were established. Atlanta Housing back in the day, and it still are today, was the leading housing authority across this country when we introduced Hope 6 and transforming all the public housing sites to mixed income developments. We tore down a lot of developments and to make something a vibrant community like it should be all along, making them safe, better neighborhoods, better schools, and just a better environment for our residents who've lived here for many years and need good quality housing. And so into that, although we do provide public and assisted housing, there's a lot of other activities we do. We provide scholarships for our young people. We look at coordination with the city about the homeless populations, and we have many public-private partnerships and providing social services to our residents in the surrounding community. Well, this is a funny story how Terri Lee accepted a position as Chief Operating Officer at Atlanta Housing. What I've been without a Chief Operating Officer for a whole year, and I kind of purposely did that because I wanted to learn about our staff, especially our senior staff. How do they talk, the personalities, the background, history, and so forth, and where they see Atlanta Housing in this great city of Atlanta. And so started looking, and so just about a month ago, I had an epiphany. I was sitting at one of our board retreats. I'm sitting here thinking, I says, wow, I says, there's just not that perfect person, but there's a person that I think is close to being perfect when it comes to the relationships in this city. Someone that had a relationship with the mayor, with the chief of staff, with Carmen. Someone had a relationship with the city council. Someone has a relationship network with all the public-private partnerships. Someone that was just in this neighborhood, and someone that has a great personality. And the only person I thought about was Terri Lee. So after that meeting, I talked to one of my advisors. He knows who he is, and so we sat there and he said, "What do you think?" He said, "That was a great idea." Everyone calls it brilliant now, but they called it a great idea at that time. So I called Terri and I said, "Terri, hey, what do you think?" I said, "Here's the reason why I think you'd be a great asset to Atlanta Housing. Here's why I think you'd be a great asset, more of a greater asset to the city of Atlanta." So what do you think about this? He said, "Hey, Gene, thank you very much. Let me pray on that. Let me think about that." I said, "Okay, Terri, you take your time." And so she took her time. She called me back. I didn't try to pressure her or anything like that. And she says, "Hey, Gene, I think there's a great opportunity. Thank you very much." I said, "Terri, don't sit there and thank me. You earned where you're at today." And I recognize that because you're good with staff, you're good with people, you have a great personality, great management skills. Now, I've only known Terri for a year, less than a year. But I'm a good judge of character. And that's how I've been successful across this country, because I get the great people to work for an institution that will bring out the best in anything. And so after Terri talked about that, she said, okay. Then Carmen Chubb, the chief of staff, we talked about it. So then my next call was to the mayor. So I put on my knee pads and I called the mayor. I said, "Mayor, I would like to talk to you about, stealing Terri Lee." But she didn't call me back for about a week and a half. And I said, "Oh gosh, maybe she's mad at me." So she finally called me. I said, "Mayor," "I'm asking yada yada yada." She says, "The only issue I have here is who's going to replace her as the chief of housing." I said, "Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll make a presentation to the chief of staff." And it came to be, and so forth. And Terri and I had limited conversation. We talked about organization. We talked about assisting each other. how a great relationship. And the bottom line, I always told Terri to this day, this is a job about having fun. How do we service our residents? How do we have fun doing what we're doing? And so Terri agreed with that, and so it's going to be history.
And I want to add something to the story that Gene shared. I was completely blown away when Gene gave me a call. I remember meeting Gene last October, or last September actually, and it was a very interesting meeting when I first met Eugene. But I remember leaving that meeting saying he can get it done, that he is what Atlanta absolutely needs, and he can get it done. And Gene has proven that since he's been here. But I also remember we asked Gene a question as to what would the residents in Chicago say about him leaving. And he said that they would cry. He literally said that they would cry. And I was like, Shortly after it was announced that he was leaving Chicago, some of the residents said in the newspaper that it was the worst thing that could happen to the city of Chicago, to lose Eugene Jones, and that he not only had a compassion for the work, he had a compassion for the people. And he understood that the resources that were made available that he was in charge of were supposed to be there to help people. And having Gene call me to ask me to serve as his chief operating officer is just as humbling as the mayor asking me to serve as her chief housing officer, because I know his heart. I've learned his heart. I've learned who he is, and I've also learned that he's really serious about making a difference in Atlanta. And I'm really grateful to have an opportunity to even increase the impact that we've had, to align myself with him to do this. And selfishly, I'm going to learn everything I can from Eugene E. Jones Jr. I think it's important that we say that. But I am so excited to be able to soak up as much knowledge as I can. One thing that he may not know is I had a chance to speak with a former HUD Deputy Secretary, Lourdes Castro, about Eugene last September. And I said, Eugene Jones is coming to Atlanta. And she said, well, you guys got a good one. You got a good one. He knows what he's doing. Just get out of his way and let him do it. That's what she told me. And so I'm excited to join him while everybody gets out of our way and let us make this happen. So I'm excited.
I think the vision is the same. What we added some great talent on top of what we had to make sure that we move in that direction. I think because of COVID-19 and all the complexities and so forth, and it just makes us stronger. Now we have Terri, we have part of the Department of Housing with us, and now we can leverage all the things that we've been trying to do when we had that. Now we have a good connection network with Terri. Now we can collapse these assets and resources to do it better, and not trying to trump each other out or anything like that, and trying to do better and trying to see who can shine the most. We're a humble agency. I mean, we want to get out there and get our information out and our news out and so forth. But Terri brings that warmth of skills and personalities that I don't know everything, and I'm not trying to know everything. I'm not trying to be everyone. And so the team here between Terri and I is complementing each other. Terry's going to learn what I know about HUD, and Terry's going to teach me about management and so forth. So I'm not that old that I can't learn from Terri and vice versa. So I'm not that kind of person. I don't have a big ego. And I think that's why Terri had accepted coming to this job, because, hey, I gotta leave Atlanta at some point. Here's a perfect opportunity for my succession plan to have someone in a place where they have learned, where the staff knows her and so forth, and knows of her work and so forth in this city. She brings credibility, instant credibility. Not that she has to, but she has it, and that brings a warmth of just greatness. I talked to the board chair, Dr. Chris Edwards. He was all on board for it. He said, a brilliant move. I keep saying brilliant. I said, wow. I said, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. Yeah. And so, we want to make sure that we still have to do what we have to do. We still have to open up our doors one day, as when the mayor, goes to a different phase and so forth. And we still doing construction. I've told Terri today, I said, go out there and see at Herndon. We still got to build. We still got to build affordable housing. We still have to make that goal of the mayor. And so nothing's stopping us. Terri's just going to take us to just keep on going in that direction. We got to build affordable housing. We got to do the best way we can. Use our resources wisely. not piss away money, government money. We got to protect tax dollars and so forth. And so, you know, I'm elated. I'm elated. I can sit at my desk and watch my shows now, and let Terri do all the other work and so forth. But it's just having fun.
So one of the things that we'll be doing is really focus on executing in order to improve the delivery of housing service as well as more production of affordable housing. When you think about my current role as Chief Housing Officer, one of the key components was really bringing all 5 agencies to the table and quite honestly having conversations different from what we've had in the past. And so I believe we've accomplished that. Is it perfect? No. But we have better alignment among all the city's housing agencies, Invest Atlanta, Fulton County Land Bank Authority, Atlanta Housing, Department of City Planning, as well as the housing component of Atlanta Beltline, Inc. That is what is being extended. That is what's being aligned. Everything that we need to do to be successful in Atlanta housing, in order to be successful for this city, each one of those agencies plays a part. And so that part has to come together in order to make the whole. So I'm elated. I think I know we're going to do great things. And Gene keeps telling me about this fun thing. And I don't know if I've experienced that before. I've enjoyed work and I've enjoyed my job, but this fun thing and the smile he's talking about, I'm looking forward to learning more about it.
Here's the fun part, Terri. When you go out to 100 homes and you see something being built and so forth, and you know that's going to be a legacy for Atlanta housing, and you know that it's going to be housing our seniors. Once we start doing the family developments, we're looking at those young kids being in a development, being in a neighborhood that they've never experienced before, but having a better access to resources, the better schools, the better neighborhood, and putting a supermarket there. So when you come home from school or work, you can just get out of your car and walk over there and feel safe about your neighborhood. That's the fun part. When you see those types of things, and people will sit there and be apprehensive, well, yeah, we heard this before, we've seen this before, but to actually do it and says, you know what, you were right. That's the fun part. And getting your staff together and having that same camaraderie, that team environment that we have, that's the fun thing. When we do that, when we do the community involvement and so forth, we bring charrettes, we bring everything that we can just to show this is what it's going to look like. And people sit there and say, well, I know it's not going to look like that. It's when we do those charrettes and everyone buys into it, it's exactly what it looks like. And we may tweak it. You may find some extra funds in which you can bring a different amenity to it. But what we bring to the table, we're very transparent. If we say we can do it, we're going to do it. We can't do it, we cannot do it. But we're going to be upfront. And I think that's what Terri understands also, is that we are going to be very transparent. We're going to say what we can do. We're going to, and we can't do, we're going to tell you the reasons why, but we're not going to stop. Our job does not stop and say, okay, let's think about, let's look at this again. Let's talk some more about it. We don't have that time. We don't have time to sit there and start procrastinating about something. We have the funding, we have the resources, we have the mechanism, we have the staff, we have the experience and the team. We got to move it forward because this is for people who are less fortunate than other people and build quality homes.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really attracted me about joining Atlanta Housing, just Gene's transparency as a leader. I think that is so important, and in the time that we're in, transparency and accountability, the time we're in right now, I mean, people through the pandemic are talking about things that we've lived throughout our career, about the need for housing, the fact that housing and education go together, housing and health go together, housing and economic mobility is critical and important. We now are seeing, I think, a level of attention that probably should have been there 20, 30, 40 years ago. But we're seeing that. But to have transparency and accountability in the leadership and understanding where the agency needs to go to accomplish that, that's what makes me excited about going to Atlanta Housing. Atlanta Housing is the lead housing agency for the city of Atlanta. We cannot achieve any affordable housing goals without that entity. So again, I'm ecstatic about being a part of it.
Here's the complaint. Let's say Atlanta Housing owns all this land. We own a lot of land. The city knows that we own a lot of land and so forth. But the issue is that it's a buildable site.
That's right.
And that's the most important thing. And you just don't want to build something just because you can build it. Does it fit into the community? And I think bringing Terri on, I said we can sit here and strategize beyond that because if we think we can sell it, we're going to sell it. But I want to tell the world is that we're not going to sell it at just appraised value. We're going to do just like you guys do us. We're going to try to get the maximum dollars that we can so we pour back in our community when it comes to sticks and bricks or some type of community services or some type of job training and so forth. And we want to pounce on increasing the opportunity for our Section 3 program, which brings residents, contractors together and to do the majority of the work that Atlanta Housing is doing.
Yeah. And you know, everyone focuses on Atlanta housing has a lot of vacant land. The reality of it is the public agencies have access to vacant land opportunities. And to Gene's point, the question is, one, is it buildable, right? Is it a good use of residential or mixed use development? And is it something that we should actually take the opportunity to maximize ourselves or sell it to the market and get maximum value for it? And so I think that's critically important. You know, I was one of those prior to becoming chief housing officer. I was one of those that would say, "Oh, Atlanta Housing has all this land," but once you get into the system and you actually see what we have available, and you see from all the agencies, you see what's really in the inventory and what's really usable, it's a different conversation. And again, that's something that we're working on and being transparent about as well. What is our public land dashboard? And what do we actually have that can be built? And quite honestly, what can be leveraged with the nonprofit housing development community? Because those are the folks that have been laboring all this time as well in doing affordable housing.
Something exciting is getting ready to happen, especially with the city civic center that we bought a few years ago. And so now we're going through a master plan. I shared that with Terri and so forth. And I'm not trying to spill the beans because I've not talked to the board of directors, not the total board, but to Dr. Chris Everett. He understands that we're going to do something very amazing and something very innovative. And you guys know in my career, I like to do things that are innovative. I'm not tearing down Civic Center so we can dispel all those rumors. What we are going to do, we're going to have a planned, affordable community that everyone's going to sit there and be proud of, especially with the late James Allen, the commissioner. The area used to be called buttermilk or something like that. And so we want to bring that, we want to preserve that, but we have some dynamic things that we think we can announce before the end of this year and to put that out so that we can get the community involved and do all those great things that we've always been doing, being transparent.